Absolutely. So many good points there, Ryan. But I'm going to pick up on the social media one because I think it's so true. Many young people, they hear about conservatism maybe growing up from their parents, but then they go to college and they become indoctrinated on campus.
Right.
And I think in many ways, we can't maybe take back a lot of these, campuses in terms of the professors, but we can start kind of our own rebel groups and have, our own clubs, and then also social media really infiltrate their minds because they're spending a lot of time on social media. So how do
Right.
you feel like when young people maybe are getting their news in such quick snapshot ways, you can draw them in on social media? Because I see you as kind of a very digital expert. So if, let's say, we're trying to reach these young people online, what do you feel like draws them in to our message when they're seeing, AOC or leftists on TikTok and things like that?
Well, I think, Libs of TikTok does a really good job at that. When you look at the content, and this individual has been banned numerous times simply for sharing the words and the videos of what these people are saying, which means to me that, okay, what they're saying in the first place is probably crazy enough to get them banned on whatever platform they set it on. It's by showing these things, right? Pulling out the common sense and things, I believe, because when you think about it, not your average person supports the stuff that the left has been saying, where, teaching kids about sex in second grade is posted in a classroom. And now, you have teachers coming out. How can I influence my student? There's videos where it's like, oh, this is how I influence my students today, and their parents don't know. It's like most average Americans, even young people, look at that and they're like, this is not who I am. So I think in itself, they're in self-destruct mode. I really do. I think that so many people, when you look at Florida on its own, like 1.5 million people left the Democrat Party to switch over to become Republican, compared to like 800,000 that switched from Republican to Democrat in Florida. That's like that all across the country, right? People feel like their party has left them. Joe Biden has lied so many times. The enthusiasm isn't there to begin with. It was barely there in 2020. Now you're seeing his numbers significantly dropped, cut in half, even more so among young voters, because they feel like he hasn't delivered on campaign promises, especially when it comes to, fully getting rid of student loan debt, which some of those progressives want. And then, of course, the economic outlook that young people, when they get out of college, it's like job prospects are destroyed for so many Americans. Look at the housing market. You can't even afford to buy a house. Right. And look at the cities. Right. Kids are being forced out of the cities because metropolitan prices are through the roof, like $5,000-$6,000 to rent a 2-bedroom in some of these cities. So I think at the end of the day, you win when you start calling out the lunacy and you start going back to common sense. And common sense rhetoric, I think, is going to win because most people do not support these crazy, asinine things that are just being put out in front of their faces.